Hey guys, me again. Um, Live, loud and clear, I hope. I just want to have a little talk, try not to make it too long, about surviving the first year of parenthood. I'm sure every year has its own challenges. Get deeper and deeper into the abyss of insanity and wonderfulness that is raising little people. Uh, so I've written down a few little things in my teeny handwriting in my notebook, which is very practical, isn't it? Instead of big writing, but that might help some other people because that's what it's all about, isn't it? Helping others. That's what we're here for. Okay, the first thing is, and I might miss some things along the way, but it's just natural because I do talk a lot of verbal diarrhea. So no, I'm just joking. Basically, one of the first things is you could do a first aid course. This is a suggestion. I didn't actually do one. It just wasn't appropriate timing around me and blah 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 blah. But you can find some uh like sort of baby first aid courses slotted in your St John's or whatever you've got courses. They're usually more common to find the adult ones, I found, but sometimes they will talk about, yeah, they do have some baby courses. So it's good to just become aware of basic uh, survival techniques, CPR, those sort of things, especially the choking thingy. So when a baby's choking, you need to have them, you pick them up and you flip them over and hold their belly, and you use the heel of your palm to solidly, not too heavy, but very firmly whack into their underneath their sort of shoulder blades in the back to bring up anything, because this is generally when you're starting to get them solids. But yeah, so I probably won't worry too much about that sort of stuff at the start. But I know from my experience, not really knowing really anything about parenting, not really being told anything, not really having any family around, not being given much advice or any advice, it was all quite bewildering. I didn't really want to know much about the birth experience, just wanted to experience it for myself and have my own vision of what I was going to have happen, but didn't. It wasn't a home birth, but I'll do a little video on postpartum and that sort of stuff, pregnancy and another one. But yeah, knowing how to get them out of the shit basically when things are going to crap is good. And also being hooked up to your local GP. They're free until a certain age, I guess. Health lines there too, that's a good one. So it's good to know your support networks, whether that's Family Start. If you need some mental health, that's a bit jumping straight into it, but mental health or some counselling, there's lots of free services around to help you, because in the first few days after giving birth, you generally, I'm guessing most women, every woman experiences what's called the baby blues. So you have about 3 days in, your hormones just like, whoa, I just like let go of everything, the placenta, all the things have just gone with it. So your endorphins, sorry, I could be a bit more technical here, but I haven't read this for a few days now. But yeah, a lot of your, I don't know, yeah, a lot of the hormones that you've had building up and those months prior, like this last trimester to birth, goes with the placenta. So your body's in a real new state of being. So long story short, 3 days after, you generally feel pretty up and down. It's normal to be 1 minute and then I'm fine the next. So just overwhelmed with feelings and stuff like that. So that's normal. But if you do feel like you are having strange thoughts, intrusive thoughts, anxiety, depression, any of these things, because it's such an overwhelming experience, I will definitely give you that. I'm sure it's overwhelming for every parent. Then reach out. It's the best thing you can do, so you can gain understanding on the subject. Yeah. Okay. Well, cool. That's the first little title subject thing without having flashing cards and things like that. I think I make up for it. So yeah, so I'll talk about pregnancy, postpartum in another vid. But so besides sort of getting to know, having maybe a first aid kit at home, whatever that may be, I didn't have one either really. I've got a thermometer there. They're good. They're about $10 from the chemist. That's handy for fevers and stuff like that. And knowing how much you have, how high a fever is. But fortunately, with the internet these days, we're really lucky to find out anything we really need to know. In my bag these days, my first daughter is 17, almost a year and a half old. And in my bag, I have a little bottle of Rescue Remedy. It's a herbal tincture that has like arnica, shock, and belladonna and that sort of stuff. And that's really handy if she ever has a bad fall and she's really worked up. She actually loves it, and I give her a wee drop of that. It does have some alcohol in it, I think. So if you can find any sort of homeopathic sort of stuff, and yes, they do work. They're just plants. They're just doing their thing. Well, I find they work. You know, they're just plants, and plants are really close to our DNA. They're actually quite amazing. We're like, nature's fantastic. I mean, we synthesize stuff from plants and turn it into drugs that we give to people. So plants can't be that bad. But anything that's alcohol free would be recommended. But often the alcohol that's in these sort of homeopathic tinctures are so small. The percentage is so small. It's like as much as a loaf of brown bread, from what I've been told. But you can always ask. It's good, and ask at the health store and just look around. There is a teething spray that's really good when the teeth start to come in that I really liked using. Still, I don't really do it for her at the moment. She's pretty good. She's got almost all of her teeth now. There's also teething powder. But yeah, I did find an alcohol-free teething spray. But it depends where you live. So your products will vary, I guess. We're in New Zealand. Ooh. So that's one thing. Also, I find that having some diluted lavender, so whether it's diluted with almond oil or jojoba oil, just another sort of neutral oil, ideally not just a rancidy veggie oil that's sitting in your cupboard, but like a nice oil, goes really well with some lavender. So many drops, geez, I couldn't really give you accurate. A lot of the time, because I've looked into a bit of essential oils, they'll ask you for, you can put 30 drops to 30 mils, that sort of stuff. I'll just look it up maybe, because lavender's still quite strong. It's probably the gentlest of all the oils, and I was going to say, yeah, you can put it on neat, but try to avoid that with infants. Be careful with the essential oils because they are still like a chemical in nature. So some diluted lavender is really good if they have a cut or a scratch or something like that. It's antiseptic. It smells really nice. So it's really relaxing. It's good for anxiety too. If you've got a diffuser or a burner, so it's good for mums and parents, or cleans the house. So it's a very good oil to have. If you're going to have any oil, I'd recommend lavender. It's the best one for everything. Cuts, bruises, mind, body, spirit, etc. Ylang Ylan's good for balancing the chakras. Random, doesn't it? Well, it's just say balancing yourself, your moods, your emotions. Yeah, chamomile's lovely. It's a really calming one. Actually, you can give that diluted and put it on a washcloth, like a chilled washcloth, or even just a wet one to soothe irritated gums, teething. It's got an ingredient in it called azulene, I think, yeah, from memory. And it's got a numbing agent in it. So that's lovely. If that's all you've got is just some chamomile diluted, it smells so good. It's really relaxing. So yeah, you can do that, or I think I've heard you can even give them chamomile tea if you need to. Geez, this thing's almost 10 minutes long. Cracky, I'll go on, don't I? Right, for any of you poor fellows still listening, Um, a bit hot, the heater's on. But anyway, so exercise and play groups is very important. I did a lot of walking before Sage was born. Yeah, I don't know if I had a car for a bit. I think I had a car accident. Or I just decided, yeah, we just lived in town. It was a small place we lived in, and so I just walked everywhere with the stroller. No, just before Sage was born. No, I just walked everywhere. Oh, and after she was born with the stroller, yeah. So it was good. Everything was pretty close. It's a pretty boring place, but yeah. So yeah, walking's really good. Well, I reckon walking is like the best exercise you can really do. When it comes to gentle exercise, you're still getting your heart rate up a little bit. Running's really hard on the joints. Biking's low impact, but not everyone wants to bike or wants to can chuck a baby in the back. I haven't biked with Stage yet. It just wasn't the right opportunities. Yeah, sometimes you might be in the city and you think, oh, it's a bit scary. What if someone bowls us over or something? So walking is really important. Getting out and getting some sort of exercise. Depends what you're up to. A lot of people go back to work, within a certain amount of time. I'm a stay-at-home mum, so I had the luxury of staying home. But as I'm about a month or so away from giving birth to another beautiful human being, what was I saying? Pregnancy brain. I've totally forgotten. Oh yeah, I had pelvic pain recently, so SPD. So my pelvis is just loosening, a bit sore. So I just sort of have refrained from any, walking a few blocks, just keeping it pretty chill. Just going to play groups once a week maybe, and yeah, staying around. Yeah, just doing the normal stuff, supermarket shopping, and going to a playground every now and then, stuff like that, rock shops or whatever. So, yeah, so exercise is important. Endorphins, yeah, helps you get out of the house. Don't spend too much time in the house. You can help it. There's lots to learn. There's lots to do, especially if you're doing cloth nappies. Don't wear yourself out. Cloth nappies is another one. Just take the top off. Sorry, it's pretty hot. It was cold before. So cloth nappies is another one. And that's quite a journey. I still haven't figured that one out yet. But yeah, I've sort of gotten to the stage with Sage where she's out wetting a lot of stuff. A lot of people swear by microfiber. I'm not 100% keen on it because this is like insert, because it is plastic. The one thing I believe in is not putting the microfiber inserts right on her skin, like right down there, because yeah, she'll be absorbing it and then it can mess with her hormones. That goes for any plastic. It goes for receipts you get at the shop. They mess with your hormones. BPA, plastics and products. So I think being mindful of that's good. I have heard and been told and sort of started witnessing that bamboo and hemp inserts are very absorbent, but I'm sort of not sure yet what the best method is to go for because they're so absorbent that you've got that moisture against the skin. And she does get a little tiny rash every now and then. Nappy free time, I've read in a few places the best cure for rashes, but I have a natural Tui balm, baby balm sort of stuff, which is a really good product from Golden Bay in New Zealand. But there's heaps of things around, like we have kawakawa, which is a really cool plant over here, but sort of the healing balm, so I'm trying to think universal here, but yeah, so sort of natural balms, beeswax and stuff. A lot of the nappies and blah 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 say you shouldn't put a barrier cream on, blah blah blah. But yeah, if you've got a little rash, then chuck some natural cream on. And what else? I've got a cornstarch powder, which is good. Some lady made it, fluffy bit. And yeah, so that's good just to keep the area dry. So yeah, at the moment I'm sort of using the bamboo hemp inserts. I've got some charcoal bamboo ones, which some people reckon are just microfiber with a bit of charcoal bamboo dusted on them. But through research, they're 100% charcoal bamboo. It's a process where they heat up the charcoal to like 1,000 degrees or something like that. And I think they do dust. I don't know. It's a fine dust they put on. Essentially, worst case scenario, buying one that's got microfiber on the inside but charcoal bamboo on the outside. They're a darker insert. So this is just inserts I'm talking about. And yeah, I found them really effective. They're like just wow. Like I put them on there and take them off, and it was like not even wet, you know. There's a few times you have to use inserts. Sometimes it takes a little few washes to get them absorbent and stuff like that. So lots of information out there. YouTube, social media, Facebook's very handy. You know, there'll be heaps of terms you'll have to get used to. Pocket nappies and all-in-ones and all-in-twos and all the different names and brands like itty bitty and blah blah blah, and so you just be like, oh my gosh. But don't be overwhelmed. There is a few basic types that I could probably talk through maybe in another video, lest I lose everybody who's listening here because I prattle on. But yeah, so for Sage, I'm probably just gonna try plastic covers for her at the moment. It's plastic. But I tried the flats recently, and I tried these snappy things, and I was hopeless. So I probably just need to keep on that and try some pins, because that is a good way to keep it all together. Otherwise, I've ordered some charcoal bamboo all-in-ones, which means it has all the inserts sewn in, that sort of stuff. It's all one piece, so you don't. But you can add more. I think it's their pocket ones, hopefully too, so you can put the inserts in the back as well, and see how they go. Because yeah, you do want something effective. You're doing cloth nappies because the P well, I'm trying to think how what the breakdown that acronym is, but basically they can be a little bit, the outer can be a little bit it's like a waterproof plasticky outer, laminate something around you anyway, but they can be a bit porous. That's why the straight plastic or can be better to not, because your clothes wet, their clothes wet and stuff like that. So yeah, so there's a bit of research to do with cloth nappies, there's wool covers, which, yeah, but I'll talk about them another time. So cloth nappies are good. They save you money on the environment, and I just recommend if you're going to get into cloth nappies to use an eco-friendly powder, and some people say it builds up and it causes like burn on the skin, and I don't know about that. I haven't had any problems. Wash them on 30 from what I've been told, because I kind of listen out and do a little bit of my research. I'm not a complete ham. So 30 degrees is good because it's not hot and it's sort of tepid, but ideally you want to wash on cold, but sometimes it doesn't get all the goodies out. So 30 is good. You can dry pails, so chuck them in a bucket just as they are. Sprinkle some vinegar or tea tree oil on if you want to, otherwise you just leave them. And you can sometimes add vinegar in the final rinse, but some nappy companies warn against it. Or you can soak them. Just chuck water into washing powder in with them. And that's the wet way of doing it. So yeah, there's a bit to look into, and just enjoy the process and just try to get some good basic. I sold heaps of nappies that I probably wished I hadn't afterwards, but generally every kid's different. But when they're littler, they don't wet the nappies as much. It's easier to have cloth nappies, I reckon. When they get older, then it gets a bit more. You have to really find a good system for them. And yeah, so I don't know where I was going with that one. I think I'm lightheaded. Anyway, cool. So on to the next one. So I've said social media. Libraries are really good. A good place for free books. And a nice space to hang out. Sometimes there's kids groups there. Like a baby, infant, toddler, whatever, music, catch up. Society becomes actually really friendly when you have kids, I reckon. Of course, you're always going to have parts of society you don't agree with, but generally, when you're a parent, people are pretty supportive, and you'll be quite surprised at how open and loving people can be. And how much support there is around. That's not saying that, I don't notice heaps of mums that are still a bit in their old ways or hanging on to the youth, or some people don't. Not everyone, all of us mature. They all mature at different times, but you just have different personalities, I guess. But you just go do your thing and have fun with your kid. That's the best thing you can do. And what I wrote there. Wooden electronic toys. So, the big debate. Should I buy plastic toys? Should I buy wooden? Well, ideally, in an ideal world, yeah. Make them yourself. Wood would be great. We talked about it, and yeah, you think they'll whack their heads more on wooden stuff. Wooden stuff is really great. We've got a mixture because sometimes I just saw cool stuff and I wanted to grab it. And it was from an op shop, and we don't have lots of money, and bright and colourful and educational, and I just grabbed it. So we do have some plastic toys. I don't know whether I should be ashamed of that, but we'll hold on to them for as long as we can, and they're getting out of life, so I bring enjoyment to our child, and she's really happy with them. And she's talking lots and copying what we're saying. And I think the biggest thing with children is giving them lots of love and attention. And when you're on a phone and you're tired and you just want to chill out, which you're totally entitled to, I often just put my phone down if she really wants that attention, because generally at the end of the day, it's more important to hang out with her and give her that time. But I'm just a big sook. So yeah, it depends. If you've got stuff to do, you got to do it. I find that actually putting on some cartoons or something educational or something fun is really helpful. I need to get housework done and things like that. Some parents, if you can do it without that, it's amazing. But for me, I don't really have any family around, so any little aid is really helpful. So don't beat yourself up if you do need an aid. We're all just trying to survive this thing, and I don't think it's fair for other parents to judge too harshly. I think you just do what you think you need to do, okay, for your own sanity. What's getting warm in here? That heat pump, man. Whew. Chuck it on 24 and you're roasting within a few minutes. Just had a cacao to naughty me. I think I talked about that routine. So yeah, come into a routine, and you think, what the hell do they mean? Like if you don't have your own routine or something, or I slept in, and I think it just basically means try to get them to get up and go to sleep at the same time every day. That's the thing I'm finding. Like when Sage still goes to sleep late sometimes, because I know she was sick the other week, so I let her sleep a bit more, which is she stayed up later that time, and it was a bit annoying for me. But they mean your mama or your parents or something, whenever they say that, they mean that, they got them up the same sort of time and had same sort of routines each day. So the child felt safe, had boundaries, it knew what was coming. They like to depend on those sort of things because it helps teach them and train them into, you can still work around there. You don't have to be totally strict, like, oh my gosh, it's 9 o'clock and he hasn't had a nap. But, because they're, teething, certain things will affect their sleeping and all sorts of stuff. But you do need that time at the end of the night for yourself and with your spouse or whatever you're doing. So if you can try to get them to sleep around, it depends on their age, I guess, but like around 6:30, 7:30, that's great. Because what we've found, we've moved a lot and we've had lots of things going on, but there was times where she was going to sleep 10 or 11. I didn't even know what I was doing. I was trying my best and trying to get to sleep. But, even in March, was like, my fiance was just like, look, we need to get to sleep at 7:30 or whatever. So it did work for a while. Anyway, so so get them up at 7:30. And then by that, they've had a nap during the day or whatever. It depends what age they are too. We might nap heaps a couple of times, whatever. But you don't have to give them a bath every day, because if you do give them a bath every day, it can dry their skin out. Some people like to do that as a calming nighttime routine. At least try to read them a couple of books if you can. As a mum, you can get quite busy and forget to play with them as much as you'd like. Dads are very good for that. You might be just extraordinary. So yeah, if you've got those books there, then that way they've got something. It relaxes you, and it's very good for their learning and that sort of stuff. And singing to them. I'm sure you're doing a great job, or you will. I think I have to turn that heat pump off because I'm about to turn into a lobster. Sorry. If you're still listening, kudos. Might be flicking through, but all right, here we go. Right, before I roast, do a peanut, which is our daughter's nickname. Excuse me. Pregnancy sniffle. Okay, so next topic, flashing lights. Anyway, formula is something I could talk more about in pregnancy and postpartum, but with me, I didn't have the mammary glands to feed her, so we made a raw milk formula. We're quite into raw milk in our family. It's good for the immune system. Pasteurized is highly allergenic. Each to their own on that one, but so that's a bit more labor intensive, putting all these amazing ingredients into it. And I can thank this book here for that one. The Nourishing Traditions Book of Baby and Childcare by Sally Fallon and Thomas S. Cohen. This is an amazing book. A lot of people will have different books, but this one book is all I feel like I need. I don't read it very much, but if Sage ever got sick, I'd come to this book. It's got lots of natural remedies, books about vaccinations. It talks about everything. Look, TV for toddlers, it's saying, look, as long as you're giving them some good quality stuff, if it's in limited amounts, it's okay. Discipline, timeout. There's different formula recipes here. There's a liver formula if you can't give them dairy, and it's just neat. So this is a really good book, and it's got some fruity recipe sort of things. What is a healthy baby? It's a chubby baby. We have a very chubby baby. So we have a healthy baby. So that's not saying, I'm sure, there's all different sort of kids and genes and stuff like that. But it's a really good book. It gives you lots of good tips. And I couldn't be without it. So I highly recommend that book. It's about $30 online. I think it might be written by Americans, but it's very grounded. And it's based on Weston A. Price. And he was a dentist that travelled around in the early 1900s, I think. And he basically found that traditional indigenous tribes that didn't eat processed food had better teeth, more symmetrical faces, were just better off in general health-wise. The teeth whereas processed food rotted people's teeth and it gave them deformed facial structures like, teeth and jaws and everything. So that's based on real research and science, and he travelled around the world and he witnessed different indigenous tribes. And just for example, our daughter, her dad, his roots are actually go to Mahia in New Zealand, so he's got Māori in him, and they ate a lot of fish, and they had some of the best teeth in the world. It's pretty cool. So so that's interesting. So teeth will say a lot about a person, and what their mum's eaten. So prenatal care is really important. What you're eating while the baby's in the womb is very important. We'll talk more about that some other time. All that sort of stuff. All right, try to wrap it up because this is about a million years too long. So nutritious meals are really important. Right after, I'll talk more about it another time, postpartum, but bone broths, potassium broths are really good. Whatever you're into, might be vegan, veggie. I did that for a very short time, but we eat meat. My fiance's going to go hunting soon, so we can save money and eat like good quality meat. So in our family at the moment, we like to eat meat because I don't know. He thinks, yeah, we've talked about vegetarianism, but that's just where we're at. We think it's easy and it's good, and we don't want our kids to go without. And I think with being pregnant, some women can get anemic and stuff, so you have to be a bit careful. But anyway, I'm not an expert on that. If you have stains in clothing, that's another one. Sard soap's really good. If you can find that, so a white bar of soap, that's really good for getting stains out. You just wet the stain and then rub some Sard soap into it. A block of soap is about $3, and then let it sit for a bit and then chuck it through your wash. And I like to use eco powder in a cardboard box because it's better on the planet. Very important. Family support, Plunket, yeah, so you hook up with a provider. But don't be too worried about them too much. Generally just want to weigh your kid and blah 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 at the start, but they can be interesting. And also I think it's important to stay in touch with people. You can feel a bit isolated if you're, well, some people go back to work and stuff, but stay at home mum, you can feel a bit isolated, and there's a big adjustment from working, socializing to raising a child. It can be very stressful and extremely tiring, especially at the start. It's probably the most tired you'll ever be. So I'm not going to gloss over that one or make that all fluffy, but you've got video calling if you ever need a video call family and stuff. And the last thing I wrote down was sleep. So sleep is really important. I found with our daughter that I was trying to feed her during the day, and at night I had to feed her on the bottle, just because of my situation. But if you're finding yourself up too much late at night and trying to feed and just like, if I allow you, if you want to formula feed at night, or express during the day so you can have milk at night. In a bottle just to feed quicker. That's one option. Just so you're not wearing yourself out so much. Because you need all the sleep you can get. And especially at the start, like every kid's different. I've heard some babies sleep really early on through the night, but ours probably wasn't really sleeping through the night till about 1. So sorry about the shock there, but yeah, so she still wakes up a little bit. She's actually sleeping with us at the moment. We're about to move her into her own room because we've only recently moved house. But it's fine. Like, I still wake up feeling really refreshed, and sometimes we have sleep in, so that's cool. So I'll wrap up because it's a long speech, and I hope some of that information's been helpful. I'm sure you'll have your own knowledge in there, but yeah, especially I found that, before I started becoming a parent, I had no idea what I was doing. Really, I had to learn everything from how to hold her, because I think I was still in shock at the time after the birth and stuff. There's a lot of things going on there, so it was helpful. I think probably at the time I would have liked a bit more guidance, but I mean, I sort of found it myself anyway, and you do, and I think that's a really cool thing that people give it well-meaning advice and that sort of stuff, but you figure it out anyway. It just might be a bit more full on. So it's quite full on. You're always learning, and there's a lot to learn. But once you've had one kid, and you want more, let's say, I think the second time around, you know a lot more. You'll be pretty confident about what you're doing. Really, there's always going to be things to learn, but yeah, for the most part, you'll be way more educated going into a second time, or even if you just have one kid over the years. Thank you for listening. Have a lovely day, afternoon, evening, wherever you are, and take care of yourself.